Pay to earn is trash.
So this might be a bold move, but we're going to try and react to this Axie Infinity video, or more specifically, a play to earn deep dive from ABC News. We'll see if it gets striked or anything like that, but it should be interesting.
Well, he did it fine, so I'm going to watch him. All right, here we go.
Yeah, thousands of people in the Philippines started playing a video game for work rather than pleasure.
Yes, they
The
did.
game, called Axie Infinity, incorporates blockchain technology.
I'm going to go ahead and just go back a little bit, because just so you guys can hear it.
ABC News. We'll see if it gets striked or anything like that, but it should be interesting.
Hopefully this should be good,
Last
guys.
year, thousands of people in the Philippines started playing a video game for work rather than pleasure.
Yes, they
The
did.
game, called Axie Infinity, incorporates blockchain technology, meaning
I can't believe these morons over there are so fucking slow about this. I was playing video games for money in Diablo 3 Real Money Auction House. It took them 10 fucking years to catch up. This is embarrassing.
tokens players amass in the game can be exchanged for real currency.
Wow.
It's what's known as a play-to-earn game.
I
Yeah.
decided to play Axie Infinity because, you know, I need money, like
It's that
extra
simple.
income as a student.
Shatil says learning to play was a challenge, but on a good week she earned around 40 Australian dollars, a decent additional income for a student in the Philippines.
I hope that, like, whenever we're watching a video that's talking about the advantages and the good things about pay to or play to earn, think about if that exact same line of logic, and even sometimes like a one-to-one, can be used for why sweatshops are good in third world countries. Because in my opinion, a lot of the arguments for play to earn mirror one-to-one the arguments that people make for sweatshops in third world countries. Because that's all they are.
To people like Shatil, some promoted the game as a flexible way to make money at home during the COVID pandemic.
So
And
it's really
making $40 a month is a lot. Or sorry, $40 a week is a lot. That's a lot of fucking money. Because if she's doing it, like maybe she's not doing it 40 hours, maybe she's doing it more or less, it's really hard to say, right? Because like let's say you're making $40 a week and you're working 10 hours. So that's actually pretty fucking good. That's $10 an hour, or $4 an hour. Like guys, it might not seem like it's a lot to you, but in the Philippines, money is different than it is here in the US or maybe the EU or Norway, wherever the fuck you guys live. Many places in the world, $40 is an assload of money. That's the reason why, like, all these guys get pissed off whenever Blizzard increases the prices, because there's a bunch of people, honestly, that live in these fucking South American countries. Their economies are fucked, and so they can't spend a lot of money. And whenever there's like a $2 price increase, this is actually for them, it's like a $10 or a $20 price increase comparatively for us. It sucks. And it's like it's region, it's region pricing. It is regionally priced. But at the same time, sometimes it's not. And then also sometimes the regional prices go up too. And then also now you're having people that are abusing the regional pricing with types of, VPNs and things like that to buy things in countries where they're cheaper and then redeem them in countries where they are more expensive. And we saw this happen with WoW items, like WoW, like subscription stuff. And also, there's even a big expose about this with people doing it at Twitch. And I think redeeming them in Turkey, buying the different types. And Turkey's a relatively nice country, right? But buying the gifted subs in Turkey, and then somehow the money ends up being more, right? You end up making more money. So yeah, I don't know exactly what the nuances to it were. Area-based inflation, yeah. Brazil. Yeah, I forgot which one it was specifically. Okay, here we go. Buying bits. It was at bits. Yeah, exactly. So those are two examples of what I'm talking about actually happening. So yes, it's $40 might not seem like a lot to you, but put like a zero in front of that or behind that. Like it's more like $400 here. Is that about right? For you guys that like, if you have any insight into like the prices in like Philippines and shit, I feel like it's probably somewhere around there. Yeah. Like, I don't know exactly. Okay, here we go. But it's a lot of money.
framed as, I guess in a very similar way to how a lot of like gig economy style companies talk about themselves as, you know, offering people flexible working arrangements. You can work as much as you want, as little as you want.
Yep.
You know, you can make as much money as you want theoretically.
Yeah, so you could just have multiple accounts, right, if you just wanted to play a lot, but in terms of one account, you were capped on the amount of like tokens you could earn per day, as far as I'm aware. I did try out Axie Infinity because I do try and, you know, play these games if I'm going to talk.
I love how he air quotes games. Of all the things to air quote. And you know what? Good decision.
Talk about them and have any kind of opinion. I do try and give them a go. Back during the peak of Axie Infinity, it cost like $1,000 to get like a competent team to be able to earn, you know, a couple dollars a day until you'd grind your way up the ladder. And the higher in the ladder you were, the more tokens you won back for winning games.
Right, of course.
So you basically bought an NFT team of 3 Axies, and they all have different abilities and stuff, and you want to make a team that's like actually good in the meta, like Pokemon or whatever, and then you win games and you get their cryptocurrency token. It's called a Smooth Love Potion, I believe, and then you would obviously hang on to those or sell them and make money, and that's how you'd make money. The fucked up thing is that if you were just somebody in a you know, Western developed country or whatever, it wouldn't be worth doing. So what people were doing instead were buying a bunch of Axies for a whole bunch of money and then renting them out to people in like the Philippines and things like that, and say, you know, you play with my Axies, but you give me 50% of your money.
God, I fucking love capitalism. Holy shit, I fucking love it. Oh my God. It's like, this is the thing. You guys have to understand this. Like, whenever there's real money to be made, that's whenever you really get into the slave labor. That's whenever you really get into the extortion. That's the fun stuff. And the best part about it is all these people that are doing it internationally, and they're doing it relatively in just gray areas. So it's completely okay. Yeah, they have it. It's nuts, man. We love capitalism. It's nuts. That's how you grow exponentially. Yes, because if you want to make a lot of money with doing this kind of stuff, you can't make a lot of money by just doing it yourself or doing it with one account. You have to make incremental gains and then scale the amount of times that gain occurs up. So that could be paying other people to do it. That could be running different instances of the account on a bot. That could be having other people use your characters or something like that. That's how you make money, is you scale up that, that amount of, the amount of runs that you can do, right? The amount of accounts that you're playing. That's how it happened. That's what happens in WoW. That's what happened in Diablo. It's what happens in a lot of games with botting.
So they basically, they call them like academies or tutors or some, I can't remember what the specific word is, there's a term for it, but it was just all to exploit people in lesser economically developed places. So the people who were making the most money were the ones who wasn't even playing the fucking game.
It's hard for me to say whether it was an exploit. What do you guys think? Because I mean, this is a contract that is entered into between two consenting adults. Is it exploitation? I'm sorry, I don't know if I would agree with it being exploitation. It's voluntary exploitation? Well, the reason why, and this is like the pretense behind this, is that the truth is, in a lot of these countries, that's a good living. So it's like, if you are making a good living in that country by getting into something and having people give you an item and doing this service for them, I find that, like, in general, so there are like a lot of really big differences, because obviously I made the analogy with like sweatshop workers. There's a huge difference between like Foxconn and you just like getting paid to like play a video game with somebody's account and then them giving you giving them a percentage of it. And I think this is like actually a very fair, or not fair, this is very common thing that happens, right? Is that you rent or you somehow don't have to pay the fixed cost of some sort of large type of machinery or large type of, tool, and you instead rent that out, and then you get part of your money that you spend, or as part of the stuff that you make, goes back to the people that own the machine. I think this is not a one-to-one comparison, but this is kind of how Unreal 5 Engine works, for example, is that Unreal 5 Engine, if you want to use Unreal 5, you have to give part of the money that you make from the game back to Epic Games, which are the developers of Unreal 5 Engine. So in a way, it's kind of the same thing. And this is a paradigm that's used in many different businesses. I think another example of this is that there are some barbershops that have this, where there are people that like go in and they have like their chair and they pay money to, have that chair there. But obviously they're not paying for the building. They're not paying for, the lighting, or they're not paying for the AC, etc. So there's a number of instances where this happens in real life where it's not considered exploitative. Now, I think that it's considered exploitative in this circumstance because it might seem new or weird, but I'm not completely sold on it being exploitative without more evidence. Strippers pay the club to dance there? Yeah, there are some other ones too. What do you guys think? Yeah, does that make sense? We're getting better wages playing WoW, RuneScape, and other gold farming jobs than real jobs? Yeah. And all right, let's go ahead and let's continue. Third world people can't be exploited, according to you? I don't think that willingly engaging in a voluntary contract between somebody else whenever you're not under duress or under any sort of force is being exploited. Now, there are circumstances where it could be. I'm not saying that's never the case, but I'm saying it is very rarely the case. And I think this is one of the instances of it not being the case until I get more evidence for it to be the case. Semantics, cool. Yeah, that's what happens, is that different words mean different things. That's right.
And this is like prevalent in all play-to-earn games, because there's like a underbelly to this entire concept which people don't really want to address because it makes it look much worse than surface level. Mm-hmm. And they have these guilds, and guilds are essentially big groups of whales who will come into a game, buy up as much shit as they can, and then farm it out to make as much money as they can. Every metaverse has big guilds in them, and the developers want...
So does every country. We just call it an oligarchy in real life. As I said, there's a lot of reasons. Whenever you go and you look at these, corporations, it's BlackRock somehow BlackRock orcs are bad, but the BlackRock company is good? I don't know there's that many differences. Listen, here's the thing, is that if you've played a lot of these online games for a long time, you would know why having a free market, a completely free market, is a terrible idea. It's because the first thing that somebody who's powerful does with a free market is they make it not free anymore. And then after that, then they make the money.
To keep the guilds on their side. Mm-hmm. So they make changes to placate the guilds, because if they lose the guilds, if they quit the game, the vast majority of the volume of ways for people in like the Philippines to interact with things like this go away. Mm-hmm. As does obviously all these big whale accounts that just start dumping things and fucking ruin the entire economy in the game. This is obviously a long way of saying that Axie Infinity was essentially the proof of concept that play to earn, at least in the way they did it, fundamentally doesn't work, because almost nobody's playing this game in the same way anymore. The NFTs drop down to like dollars each.
Well, that's because this is exactly what happens with every sort of video game economy, because it's much easier to scale the value and the, once you learn how to make 100 gold, how do you make 1,000,000 gold? Well, it's simple. You just do that 10,000 times. You see what I'm saying? So then any amount that you can't get to is just a problem of scaling. Death's Bite dropped? Bro, why the fuck do you care about Death's Bite? It's not even good. The Jawbone is better for you. Betrayer of Humanity is better for you. Armageddon is better for you. Why are you getting fucking excited? Why didn't you buy, bro? Because you were asleep. You weren't on. I thought everybody told me you were asleep. I want to go. Well, just go to the fucking I'm going to do the DK raid probably tomorrow, maybe the next day. I was on GTA. All right, fine. Listen, I'm going to do it on my DK as well. So you just come on the DK. Message me anytime you do shit. Okay, all right, fucking fine. I'll message you next time. Okay? I'll message you next time. So, look, what I'm getting at is that a lot of these different games, right, is that they drive the prices of gold. And you guys saw this with Lost Ark. If Amazon didn't do anything with the bots in Lost Ark, gold, everything on the auction house would eventually be pretty much worth gold cap. Because the bots there would be so many bots, and they would be making so much gold that they would drive the price down, up for everything. That's just what happens.
It's just the bottom's falling out.
But like the gig economy,
Yes.
Ben says play to earn.
Because the amount of people that are in it to make money, basically, like it's just a simple it's a simple price demand graph. There's just way less demand, and supply and demand. Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah, there's so much supply going up, and the demand is staying the same, or even going down, because the amount of legitimate players is the same, even though more and more people get into it to make money. Well, guess what happens? Eventually, they run out of people to sell it to. And then you have to start selling it at lower prices, and lower prices, and lower prices. And at a certain point, those people aren't making $40 anymore. They're making $4. That's what happens. So you're saying that a few things don't involve explicit threats of violence can count as exploitation, but can't bargaining power be severely tilted in one direction by subsidies and government privileges? So what looks like a voluntary contract is only possible, coercively excluding competitors? Yeah, I think there's a lot of instances where that could happen, but I don't think this is one of them. Like, everything has to be looked at individually. You can't just look at, say, like, never or always. I don't think that... I haven't seen sufficient evidence to view this as exploitative yet.
Is deeply exploitative in practice.
Yeah.
Especially when it involves low-income players in the developing world.
Yep.
You know, investors have kind of said, hey, like, what if we just start buying these assets and leasing them out to low-income players?
That's really smart.
These sort of wealthy, whales.
So it's basically, what people do with houses. Yep. Pretty simple.
Essentially, who own these crypto assets, who are then leasing them out to these other players who are receiving a cut.
As well as playing Axie Infinity herself, Shatil investigated the experiences of other players for a university research project.
Mostly, our participants answered that they are really blessed. They're really lucky to have this opportunity like Axie Infinity because, when COVID-19 pandemic struck, a lot of people really lost their jobs or they cannot go outside. They're really thankful for the Axie Infinity. They didn't mind the stress as long as they are earning money.
And that is one of the things that's interesting, that obviously there are a lot of people whose lives are enriched by this. Like, regardless of whether you think that it's true or not, or it's good or not, there are people that are in this that are happy about it.
Shatil says the
In the
players she spoke
Philippines.
to became stressed when they couldn't meet the daily minimum quotas set by their managers, who owned the...
Like, just imagine this. You could obviously make a point that is this any different than, like, working in a warehouse and having a boss be like, oh, you need to do this level of work. But at the same time, when you just essentially allow anybody in the world, like, where's the regulation here? Where's any form of laws or protections for workers? There aren't any. And there's people in different countries, in completely different jurisdictions, essentially being the boss.
This is always a problem whenever you have, like, peer-to-peer things that are happening internationally, is that even whenever a law is broken, and this is one thing I don't know if Kira is going to talk about, is that even whenever a law is broken, like, for example, with Slicker, I think that if Slicker went to court, he would 100% be convicted for wire fraud. It wouldn't even be a question. But nobody's going to spend fucking $250,000 to get his ass in court. It's not going to happen. So he effectively is breaking the law, getting away with it, and it's not cost beneficial for anybody to hold him accountable. And that's what ends up happening.
And having power over them. with stuff like this.
And the thing is, here's and this might upset some people, but I'm actually going to give you the reason why these guys probably have quotas that they have to meet. So basically, you can explain it with a very, very simple graph, right? So you have the graph, and this is time, and this is money, right? And so you have a red line right here, and this is the amount of money that is spent, and this is about the time. And so if you have, let's just go ahead, I'm going to cross these out. Wait, actually, 1 second. Let me just do this. So basically, if you are making money, this is where you are making money right here. Because you have to spend this red number, this red line, is the fixed cost of the digital asset. And the fixed cost of the digital asset, as with all other assets, especially in these games, are a depreciating value. This is a depreciating asset. And at a certain point, this asset will become non-valuable. And because it has a fixed cost, if the person who is making it doesn't get above this red line of the fixed cost, the amount of fixed investment for it will not, the amount of money the person makes through this item or this digital asset will not counterbalance and become profitable versus the cost that it took to obtain the digital asset. It's kind of like you're spending $150 to make $100. Does that sound like a good deal? No. It's the same graph I've showed you guys with botting before. And I explained how it makes to where botting will happen. It's a money sink. Yeah. So they have to, in order for this economy to work, there have to be requirements like that.
Incredibly dark once you start getting into the nitty-gritty of what can happen.
Characters they played. And a lack of sleep after long hours spent in front of a screen didn't help either.
It's a phone game, by the way, that you can play on PC.
I would have never guessed that.
They're just obviously using some stock footage of somebody playing a PlayStation.
Says the potential for labour exploitation within video games began in the early 2000s. Known as gold farming, mostly Chinese workers spent hours on end generating in-game currency, which was then sold on for real money to wealthier players.
I remember
this
watching
is a point I've always made. It's not new.
Remember that guy? What the hell is his name? I was gonna say Marquis Raven. That's a character in fucking in Overlord. What the fuck is his name? It was Marquis something. Marquis Dragon. And this guy would make videos. Marquis Dragon, yeah. This guy would make videos about gold farming and like gold buying. He did this shit like over 10 years ago. Do you know who was involved in buying and selling gold? Steve Bannon. You know, like that guy Sloppy Steve? The guy that was in Trump administration? Yeah, well, he got one of his starts actually being involved with one of these gold farming companies. Yeah, so it's Steve's fucking fault that you had to buy gold for more money. Yeah, Steve did that. No shot. You look it up.
Obviously, back in the day, there was reports that some gold farming companies were Chinese prisons, and they were getting inmates to farm gold.
Oh, yeah, I remember that, yeah.
On WoW. Which is fucking mad as a concept, but...
Well, is it really mad? Because we do that same thing here in America. I mean, like, listen. What was the old fucking redneck joke? Is it that, you know, you've got a customized license plate? My dad made it from jail. You know, like that. It's a fucking meme. Yeah, we do the same thing. Like it's not that crazy. Like, so before you guys get down on China, you know, you got to look at what makes us both wrong. Yeah, I think it's a little bit fucked up too. But you know, I'm just saying, China is not unique in this.
There you go, I guess. You could be worse. You could be an American. They could be making you fight fires for 50 cents a day.
It was basically a case of outsourcing labor to poor rural areas in China, as well as incarcerated people in some instances in China, to just sit at their computers and these, and generate these kinds of in-game assets to sell them on exchanges that were owned largely by American companies.
Mm-hmm.
Axie Infinity developers Sky Mavis told ABC that the game was not a play-to-earn game, but by earning tokenized resources which could be sold on an open market, some players were able to earn a living from the game.
I love how they say something. Guys, you know what this reminds me of whenever they say that? It reminds me of that scene in Wolf of Wall Street whenever Leonardo DiCaprio asked Jonah Hill, so he's like, what's this shit with like you marrying your cousin? And he's like, well, I mean, it's not like that. Basically, so our parents, okay, so like her brother or her dad was my dad's brother, okay? So, and he basically just fucking explains exactly what cousins are, but it's like, oh no, that's not what I did. No, it's totally fucking different.
It's not a play-to-earn game. Is that... Do they not advertise it as a play-to-earn game? I've never, ever looked at Axie Infinity and not seen it be called a play-to-earn game. That's weird. I mean, even the description of it just describes a play-to-earn game.
I think the only reason they're not saying that is because it has a negative connotation.
The universe has a player-owned economy where players can truly own, buy, sell, and trade resources they earn in the game through skilled game.
They can play the game, they can earn in the game, but it's not play to earn. I mean, guys, come on.
Play and contributions to the ecosystem. It sounds like a play-to-earn game. I don't understand why. Is there some like legal distinction they have to get around or something? I don't know why they wouldn't call it what it is.
However, the Axie Infinity website states, join the blockchain gaming play-to-earn
There you go then. Yeah, it literally does say it on their website. These people are fucking ghouls, mate. They really are.
I'd say more like goblins.
Oh, is that spit in my mouth? No, it's water. Meanwhile, you're watching him spit in your mouth. Like,
yeah.
Just tell people what it is. We already know it's terrible. Just tell them what it is.
Revolution with Axie Infinity. A Sky Mavis spokesperson said Axie Infinity allowed players who were renting characters off...
That was the word I was looking for earlier. Scholars.
That's always smart, you know. Usually you give people that are part of a group that's being exploited a word to make them feel like they're smart. Or they're better.
Generate resources without taking on any risk. The usual split between manager and scholar was 70-30, the spokesperson
It wasn't when
said.
I looked.
Without any risk to the scholar, where is the exploitation?
Only slightly worse than Twitch.
In the Philippines in 2021, play to earn was reaping rewards until the value of Axie Infinity's in-game tokens, known as Smooth Love Potion or SLP, came crashing down.
Of course.
I lost my excitement to continue playing because of the SLP's value. I noticed that the players on multiple communities are converting their SLP into cash as soon as possible.
Yeah, so
No shit.
I don't know if they're going to make this point, but for me, the fucked up thing here and why it's really exploitative is that you essentially, you know, as the owner of these NFTs that are renting them out to these people, you buy them, you generate money on them, you sell the tokens to get the money, and then once you notice the bottom start falling out, you just sell all your assets that you have that have a dollar value, and then these people are the ones that they don't have those assets to sell. They've just been selling the thing, so it's like everyone just loses their job immediately and gets nothing in return, which to me is obviously just another added negative.
It is a negative. It's hard for me to say that is a thing that's just like, is that a fundamentally bad thing that is intrinsic to play to earn? Because I feel like there's a lot of different times in society where that happens. Is that, you know, yeah, if the economy for something starts going into shitter, everybody starts trying to cash in and then get out of it. It's a rug pull. I don't think that it's necessarily a rug pull. It's like a landlord selling your house. It would be more like if I don't know if this is a good analogy. I don't agree with that one. I think that one's a bad idea. I think that it would be more like if you were in like a hair salon and they sold the hair salon, and so now you don't have a place to work there anymore. I think that would be probably a better analogy. What do you guys think? Is that about the same fairness? Yeah, about that. And would that be considered bad? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think that this is like just another This is just what people do.
According to Bloomberg,
Yeah,
Axie Infinity had around 2.7 million active daily users in April 2021. Last week, there were around 111,000.
Wait.
He had around 2.7 million active daily users in April 2021. Last week, there were around 111,000.
Jesus.
Wow. So you have an economy that's being generated for almost 3 million people. You take that to 100K, you know, I wonder what happens. I bet prices are going to go down a lot.
Axie Infinity's currency dropped in value after the recent crypto crash, but it was already falling before then.
Yeah,
Earlier this year, hackers stole around $600 million in cryptocurrency linked to Axie Infinity.
This was the North Korean nation-state hackers called Lazarus Group that stole this money and then laundered all of it. At least when I was looking, they was laundering all of it through the Tornado Cash app.
Some critics say there are also fundamental problems with the economics of play-to-earn games like Axie Infinity. The model doesn't stack up because the only way income is generated is by more people buying into the game.
If the game is...
Yes, obviously. Whenever you create an entire economy around people buying things under the... What was the thing that I think Bill Gates said? The greater fool theory? Everybody is buying something with the expectation or the hope that somebody even dumber than them will buy it for even more money. That's it. Yeah, it's just a fucking pyramid scheme.
Such that it can only succeed with more players coming into the game, then by definition, it's like a Ponzi scheme.
There it is.
In the sense that the game is not sustainable.
Paul said.
Yeah, it just is. Like, there's no real discussion to be had there. It just is, right?
It just is.
Playing the game generates more in-game tokens. It's an inflationary act, where the more tokens generated causes their value to decrease.
Of course.
A Sky Mavis spokesperson denied Axie Infinity was a Ponzi scheme and referred the ABC to the economy and long-term sustainability section of the company's white paper. The spokesperson also said the company had conducted economy balancing efforts within the game to ensure more SLP was used while playing Axie Infinity rather than exchanged. Video game developers...
Oh, of course they're going to say that. The thing is, it's in the developer's best interest to say these things. Of course they're going to say this. Like, these people are effectively running a digital sweatshop, so it's not like you should expect any degree of ethics from them. Expect them to lie and say whatever will be beneficial to them.
Now setting out to design other sustainable play-to-earn models.
Good luck.
With Axie Infinity developer Sky Mavis set to launch a new version of the game soon.
Of course. Just keep going. Just keep launching new ones until it works.
It's not that they're not launching new ones until it works. They just know that this is a wave. You make a new game, the wave goes up, and then it goes down. You make a new game, wave goes up, then it goes down. Then you make a new game, wave goes up, then it goes down. It's simple. That's the way that all of these games work. It's not complicated. It's not like this is some kind of like elaborate fucking idea and they're just taking advantage of this and they're just going to try to make the game survive. No, this is the way that people consume content even, right? I mean, they're just going with what consumer trends are.
Getting those billies off people for something that nobody even fucking wants. Nobody wants that. It just is what it is. And then obviously we have evidence that Axie Infinity just straight didn't work, and we've not seen another game come out that's mirrored that and been successful at all. So we'll have to see, I guess. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these people are wrong. Maybe the experts are wrong. And play to earn is gonna be a thing one day. I think it's fucking garbage.
Maybe everybody with any sort of fucking economics understanding, everybody who has even taken one class of economics, maybe all of the experts, maybe the general public, maybe all of them are wrong, and somehow it's actually going to be the future. We just don't know enough, guys. Earth 2 is going to change the world.
To be honest, I don't understand why you'd want to do it. It's only ever going to happen for like a small subset of people. and has always been a gray market.
Well, that's always what it is, right? Because I think that like it's only going to happen to a small subset of people. I love how the internet has fucking has just like absolutely dilated everybody's narcissism up to 11, because I think that's actually one of the reasons why gambling is so popular now too, is that people have become so narcissistic and self-involved that they think that they're the lucky one. They think that they're the special one. They're the one that's going to succeed. They are the main character. And that's why I think a lot of this stuff happens, is that these people manipulate themselves into a position where they think they're special. And it's like this whole, fucking in America, the term temporarily embarrassed millionaires. This is the idea that the reason why people are okay with rich people not paying a lot of taxes is that the poor people identify with the rich people because they, in their mind, believe that they are temporarily embarrassed millionaires and they should be rich, or they will be rich at some point in time. In other words, they're getting it twisted in real life. So this is very, very common. What? Yeah, look it up, man. I'm not bullshitting. Look it all up.
Black market or whatever in gaming, because it's not why most people play games. If you just play and as like a side thing, you get some currency and then you decide to quit and sell it or whatever else, that's understandable. But when the entire thing is, play to earn, even the wording of it just weirds me out, because it's essentially saying like, you're doing this as a job. And everybody that knows, if you turn a hobby into a job, it no longer is a hobby. It's not fun anymore. It's why a lot of people don't like streaming and stuff like that after they've actually transitioned into it, and it becomes worse, or making videos about games or whatever. I
think that happens to a lot of people, like streamers, etc. I mean, I think that's going to happen to anybody with anything. Like you have, like I think there's like two different perspectives to have, right? Who was it that said, do something you love and you'll never work another day in your life? Was it Robin Williams? I forgot who it was. So there are a lot of people that do something that they love, and then they are happy pretty much, and they're happy, and that's it, right? They're happy for the rest of their life doing this. There's also other people that, what Kira's saying and what I've experienced, I think what a lot of people have experienced, right, is that, whenever you do something a lot and it becomes like a job in a way, it turns into not being enjoyable. That's what happens. I think that's happened with people with streaming many times. It's happened with YouTube videos. I know that happened with me with YouTube videos at periods in time. It used to happen to me with streaming more. Now I'm, very relaxed about it, obviously, especially my second channel, right? Like I do this for free, right? I mean, that's not entirely true. I'll get money for this YouTube video, but I don't make any money off of this stream. But I do think that there are a lot of people out there that, they fall into that trap of doing something that they love and then they start hating it.
Certain kind of people to do stuff like that, because hobbies are best left as hobbies, unless it's something that you are like uber passionate about. Working by playing a shit mobile game, nobody's going to be passionate about that. They're just not. So thank you very much, and see you on the next one. Peace out.
I think that they're probably going to be just about as passionate about playing a shit mobile game than working at an Amazon fulfillment warehouse. I actually don't think that it's that much different. I don't at all. I don't think it's that much different in any capacity. It's about the same thing. And I'm not going to go and say that working in a fulfillment warehouse is going to be any less or more fulfilling than playing a shitty gacha game that's, some weird fucking Ponzi scheme that's cooked up by these people that have these guilds of digital assets that they loan them out to third world people in third world countries.